All right, do cameras really make a difference? Today I want to investigate a $6,000 camera versus a $600 camera. Obviously these prices are different from their brand new, but I looked at the prices of what they're worth right now. $6,000, $600, pretty nuts. Let's jump into it. Ironically enough, today I'm shooting on an even cheaper camera. Not pumped on the quality, but I wanted to be able to hold these up, so this is what we got. If you don't already know, I make TikTok videos, and by far the biggest question asked is, how do you get this quality? Is this shot on your iPhone? What does your studio look like? What camera are you using? And it's great, I love it. It makes me feel great about myself. But what doesn't feel great is responding and saying, this is actually a $10,000 setup I'm shooting with right now. It makes it really unreachable, and like, I thought, hey, I think I can get pretty close to the quality with a $600 setup. That being said, at the end of this video, I'm gonna do a full tour of like what my studio looks like, behind the scenes, kind of showing you where my cameras are and stuff for my TikTok. So if you're here for that, just wait to the end. So ever since I got this camera set up, I've been thinking, how much quality is this actually bringing me? I mostly got it because it takes really great photos and really great videos at a high frame rate. And at the time, Canon, this was pretty much the only camera that shot 120 frames a second in 1080p. So that's really why I got it. I spent a lot of money on it, obviously, but it was worth it for me at the time. I've never fully understood what quality is this actually bringing me over this setup. So I'm pretty excited today to go over it because it's a question I've had for a long time, and I've also not looked at the footage comparisons. I have no idea. But the hope is that this camera, the $600 setup, can get me 90% there of this camera. That's the hope. All right, the two cameras we're going to use today, the first is the Canon 1DX Mark II. Right now you can buy it for about $4,500. I paid a significant amount more than that a few years ago. And then on there is the 50mm 1.2, which is about $1,500. So that's our $6,000 camera. The second is the Canon 60 Mark I. You can currently buy that used for about $450, give or take. And the lens on there is the 50mm 1.8, also by Canon. People call it the Nifty 50. It's a great fun lens. And you can get it new for about $125, and obviously used for less than that. So that's our $600 camera. And don't worry, there'll be links for these down in the description. So I'll be shooting 1080p, 24 frames a second, 1/30th a second shutter speed, 1.8 aperture at ISO 100 for all you camera geeks that understand what I'm talking about. Everyone else, sorry. Also, since this is kind of a TikTok comparison video, I wanted to shoot all the video vertical because that's how I shoot it for TikTok. Also, if I shot 50mm from where you're at right now, it's really tight and just doesn't make a great video either. So I'll put these here. You'll be able to see like, okay, this is what they look like side by side. It could be kind of fun. Anyway, so that's my game plan, is to shoot both of them vertical. So I only think it's fair to jump into a blind test. Right now we're jumping in between camera A and camera B. We're jumping between a $6,000 camera and a $600 camera. Can you tell a difference? And if you can, is it a $5,400 difference? The fun thing is, I'm actually filming this before I watched any of it. So I don't know exactly if it's way better or way worse. So I'm in the same boat as you. I have no idea which one's nicer, but I'm assuming it's not a $5,400 difference. It's also funny because I'm the one that paid a bunch more money for this freaking camera. Before I really jump in and like compare, okay, this camera's for sure way better than the other, I wanted to also throw it into TikTok. Obviously TikTok downgrades the video quality. So being able to throw them both in there and really seeing a side-by-side within TikTok itself, I think is probably more important than just seeing the raw footage side by side. So I'm actually gonna post a couple TikToks right now, and then we'll compare it right now. Hey TikTok, I'm doing a camera test today. This footage that you're currently watching is either a $6,000 camera setup or a $600 camera. Let me know down in the comments which one you think it is. So, what do you think? Is it close to the same quality? I'm actually gonna jump over, I still haven't looked. I'm gonna jump over and look right now. Let's circle back in a second. Incredible. For one, it's nice to be back on a decent camera. That intro camera looks so bad. Oh, I'm pretty embarrassed. I like debate re-recording, but not going to. Without making you wait much longer, let's jump in and tell you which one was which. Turns out video footage A, both on TikTok and regular, was the $600 option. Footage B was the $6,000 option. Let's watch it again really quick so you can actually see it in real time with the actual dollar amounts there. So I only think it's fair to jump into a blind test. Right now we're jumping in between camera A and camera B. We're jumping between a $6,000 camera and a $600 camera. Can you tell a difference? And if you can, is it a $5,400 difference? How about those footage comparisons? That's pretty incredible. So far on TikTok, most people can see a difference, but it is not a $5,400 difference. It is not. It's like maybe honestly like hundreds of dollars difference, maybe. Like, oh yeah, I'd pay hundreds of extra dollars to get this extra crispness. But especially once you move it over onto actual TikTok, very, very few differences. Pretty freaking wild, don't you think? I'm glad that proved that you don't need a freaking $10,000 setup to have a great video, to like have a video that actually stands out, to have TikToks that look so much better than everyone else's. Obviously, there's inconveniences, right? This camera, it does not have autofocus, which is really inconvenient while filming. Is that a $5,400 inconvenience? You can also get the Mark II, which is like $500 more, like $1,000 or something like that, instead of $400. It's hard to debate, like, do you really need a super expensive camera? There's obviously, I also want to put the caveat out there that there are way nicer cameras that do a lot more, and obviously there's a difference even between the two cameras that I showed today. But the main point I want to get across is you don't need to spend a stupid amount of money. It's way more about lighting, way more about your set, way more about like how you structure your video, and you can still stand out by having amazing quality. You don't need to spend a stupid amount of money. You can start right now. So there's where I'm at. Pretty incredible. Now I guess that's a good leeway over to my actual studio setup. Let's jump over to the crappy camera again. I apologize, but I'm going to walk through, do a nice little studio walkthrough, and alrighty, here is my office. It's kind of a big, awkward, long hall. The main camera that I use is the one we just used for this whole test. It's the 1DX Mark II. I have this monitor up above so I can see what I'm filming because it doesn't have any kind of flip-out camera. And then this is the second camera I use for the test. Right here I have a 16-35 on it typically, just because it shoots it nice and wide, and then I have it on a little trackpad for no reason, or a little slider, literally for no reason. Over here for audio, currently I'm using a really old, like a 10-year-old H4n by Zoom. And then the microphone is actually also by Zoom. The model number is the ZDM-1 on just a really cheap Amazon arm. And then up here is the light. It's an Aperture 120D Mark I. It's cool, you can adjust the stuff, but I have a little gel on there because I actually don't like the color that comes off of it. This is the OBS system that comes over to my camera. I do that so that I can see when I'm recording and again see myself without having to buy a freaking monitor. Back here are some IKEA lights, so that's what you see in the background of all my videos. They are pretty simple, pretty cheap, and do the trick, kind of give me a unique look. So overall, that's what gets my TikTok videos. So pretty pumped on it. It's a really simple setup, but a lot of fun. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. This has been the Business in Real Life podcast. Today it's a little bit different episode, but it's a test that I've really wanted to do, and I think it's pretty relevant to businesses and social media and all the things we chat about anyway. So if you could, would you please subscribe? It's free, it's easy, it's so fun. It would mean so much. So if you got some value from this, I would love just that tiny little bit of value back would be incredible. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask them down below. And yeah, we'll chat soon. Thanks.